Ladies, when are we gonna wake up and realize what our last straw is? Because if he wanted to, he would, but he doesn't because he won't. Yet we're over here convincing ourselves someday he might. We're over here growing, changing, maturing from our mistakes, and they're over here holding us in a motherfucking emotional prison, reminding us we're never good enough. They have the audacity to tell us all the ways we could change to make them happy. This ain't Build-A-Bitch! But we'll put in literally 1% effort. It's about goddamn time we wake up and realize the energy we're exerting into them is holding us back. And meanwhile, everything around us is suffering with us. And that's the last straw.
You know, guys, I can't possibly imagine why this woman might be divorced. Okay, we've got the hashtags on her video. Hashtag divorce, hashtag know your worth, hashtag strong, hashtag woman. You know, all of these words, guys, indicating, hey, I'm a strong and independent woman. I don't need no man. But at the same time, she's perfectly happy to sit here and to complain about men not treating her as she would like. You know, guys, this is the most hilarious part about modern day dating. Girls will sit here, they'll complain about men not putting in any effort when they themselves are the ones who choose the men. Yo, what is going on, guys? It is Taylor the Fiend back again with another response video, and on today's episode, guys, we are going to be kicking it off by covering a TikTok video from this woman right here who seems to be divorced from what I can gather. I don't know why that would possibly be the case, but we've got some other videos lined up and also a article talking about why men are no longer dating. We're going to be seeing how accurate that is, but without further ado, let's just jump in, take a rehash of this, and listen to what this woman has to say. Guys, don't forget to leave your thoughts and your comments.
Ladies, when are we gonna wake up and realize what our last straw is? Because if he wanted to, he would.
I love how these girls will talk about like, oh, this is my last straw and I'm finally done with his behavior. But my understanding is that this woman is married. Okay, maybe you should actually vet the behavior that you want from a man rather than just, I don't know, trying to marry Chad. This is hilarious to me, guys. It's like girls will complain about these red flags and all of these things that are going wrong in their relationship when a lot of the times it's straight up seeable from the beginning. Like, I would say the same thing to dudes who decide to go out here and marry girls who are clearly for the streets. But girls just seem, you know, immune or unable to see past the red flags. In fact, a lot of the times they're actually attracted to the red flags that men give them. Let's continue with the video.
But he doesn't because he won't. Yet we're over here convincing ourselves someday he might. We're over here growing, changing, maturing from our mistakes, and they're over here holding us in a motherfucking emotional prison.
You know what maturing would look like? Number one, not associating with people who you don't want in your life, okay? So if you are so mature, if you are so emotionally intelligent, you probably wouldn't associate with people who are not interested in investing in you mutually. Right? So if you're so enlightened, if you're so, you know, you're going through your relationships, you're maturing, you're growing, why is it then that you're okay to be in a relationship with someone who, in your words, is putting in no effort? Which, by the way, guys, I see a lot of girls say that men aren't putting in any effort, but in a lot of the situations that I see, the men are putting in a lot of effort just outside of the house. You know, working, going to their job, coming home, and then they just get dealt attitude like this, and the guys are sitting there saying, what's the point, right? I go out, I work all day, I do my best to pay for the bills, I come home, and then what do I get? Complaining, people saying that I'm putting in no effort. It's like, why would men put in the effort? Like, they come home and they've essentially got a second boss who's sitting there yelling at them,
reminding us we're never good enough. They have the audacity to tell us all the ways we could change to make them happy. This ain't Build-A-Bitch! But we'll put in literally 1% effort. It's about goddamn time we wake up and realize the energy we're exerting into them is holding us back.
I love that terminology. Right? Holding us back. Allow me to move down the camera here. Okay? Holding us back. This is the kind of terminology you hear when people start to talk about infidelity. So you know how girls will oftentimes go out here and then they'll have that one friend who, or a few friends who are whispering in their ear saying, "Oh, you can do better, queen. He's holding you back. You know, he's just, why don't you leave him? He made you sad this time. You're crying over him all the time." And typically what that means is just the girl's not getting her way. But you know, he's upsetting you. He's clearly not the best choice. He's holding you back, girl. Why don't you go find another man? Right? Why don't you go find someone who's going to be better? And a lot of girls delude themselves into thinking that the next guy that they find is going to be the complete package, who's going to be better than her current boyfriend. I've seen girls literally leave, you know, like marriages, very long-term relationships, to go out there and chase bad boys because their friends and they themselves have convinced themselves that they are being held back, right? Oh, my husband only earns 65k a year. Yeah, he's working his butt off, and when he gets home, he's incredibly tired, so he doesn't put in as much effort as he should. But I'm a boss, babe. I'm a queen. I deserve better. I deserve that guy who's making at least 150k a year, like Chad that I used to see when I was 21 years old.
And meanwhile, everything around us is suffering with us. That's less straw.
Yeah, guys, you know, that's the last straw. Okay, you would think that some of these girls would at least take some accountability, but I guess we are just nowhere near that in current day society, guys. But hey, speaking of current day society, I wanted to show you guys this video clip before we really jump into today's article that I have pulled up for us here, guys. And this is just a perfect video showing where exactly we are in society. So let's take a listen. This is, from what I understand, a little street interview thing that goes for 2 seconds here. I'm just on the street. I'm not sure if it's a university campus or not, but let's take a listen.
Do you think all sports should be gender neutral? Yeah, I think so. The fact that they're separated perpetuates this idea that male and females, the gender terms, are separate and the skill level is different. So men are stronger, so they have a separate sport, which is kind of bullshit.
Yeah, guys, you know, it's just complete BS that men and women, excuse me, are completely different in certain aspects, right? It's completely BS that there might be separate leagues for men and women, because apparently the skill expression is exactly the same. You know what, guys? We have hit a point in society where I'm just going to throw my arms up and say, you know what, guys? The women want to be included in our sports. I say, guys, that we let them. We let them be included in basketball. We let them be included in tennis. We let them be excluded in football, soccer, whatever the case may be, guys. And you know what would happen? There would be no women in those sports, because no women would be able to climb up to the top echelon of that particular sport. But guys, welcome to modern day society. I'm going to give that a run through one more time, because this is just absolutely hilarious. You would think that these things would be common sense. Let's take a listen.
Do you think all sports should be gender neutral? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think so. You see, whenever I see these videos, I always think to myself, they must be on university campuses, because that's where a lot of this brainwashing goes on. You know, telling men and women that we're the same, that we're identical, that we are equal in every realm of human endeavor. It's just completely ridiculous.
The fact that they're separated perpetuates this idea that male and females, the gender terms, are separate and the skill level is different.
They are different. These things are different, madam. These girls are so incredibly lost. But guys, that is enough of that clip. Let's jump into the meat of today's episode. And this is just absolutely hilarious whenever I see articles like this. So let me hit the right button and pull this up. So this is titled, "Guys Don't Date Anymore. 7 Ways the Dating World Has Changed for Good." It says, "We sometimes include products, blah, blah, blah." And this is written by a woman named Felicity Frankish. So we're going to see how accurate this is. This is written in the current year, 2022. And we're going to see how accurate Miss Felicity here is, because she's absolutely correct, by the way. Okay, guys, a lot of men aren't interested in dating anymore. They really aren't. And the guys who are seeing success in dating, most guys are really struggling when it comes to dating, when it comes to relationships and things like that. But the guys who actually do get the play when it comes to dating, they actually have no reason to date these women either. So women, guys, are out here, you know, they're just struggling. They're trying to find their worth. They're growing, they're maturing. But at the same time, guys, you know, why aren't the men putting in effort anymore? So let's see if this article has any useful information for us. It says, let's all take a pause for a second here. What happened to the days of chivalry? Where did it go? 1 minute, guys were opening doors for us, pulling out our chairs and connecting over a shared meal. Today, we're lucky to get a text calling us to come over and join him on the couch for a movie. Sure, we've fought long and hard for womanism, and expected changes have come with that. We pay our way through meals and are even happy to get our own doors. Wow, what fantastic. You know, coming off your high horse to get your own doors, that must be quite the struggle. But when did we give up on dating? Surely I'm not the only one pondering these thoughts. If you're wondering what changed in recent years, we take you through the 7 ways the dating world has changed and what you can do to turn the tables. Okay, so this is a different article to what I thought it might have been, guys, but, you know, we have to turn the tables of men not choosing to date us. Now I'm going to put up some gameplay for a second here while I rant about this, guys. This is just something that blows my mind, because you'll see the women say things like that. They'll say, look, we're strong and independent now, or we've fought for our freedom, guys. We pay our way on dates, which, by the way, guys, a lot of the times these girls are still not paying their way on dates. I find that incredibly laughable. It's like, have you guys seen the sheer amount of TikToks out there? And when I say sheer amount, I often mean that these TikToks have like millions of views on them, hundreds of thousands of views, you know, thousands of comments on videos saying that, hey, if a man doesn't pay for your date, if a man doesn't, you know, be chivalrous the first time you guys meet, then just go out there and find another one. Right? So, yeah, apparently women are out here paying their own way, guys, but I really don't see a whole lot of that. And I brought this up on the channel before, guys. If a girl really likes you, she doesn't need you to pay for crap. She really does not, okay? Like, I guarantee you guys, most of the women who go out here dating in modern day society, they have gotten with dudes and the dude hasn't had to get them anything from damn McDonald's. Okay, but you know, some dudes are expected to go out and be chivalrous. Now, what does that mean, guys? There's some men that are required to be chivalrous. There's some guys that are expected to pay for the women. What that essentially means is that the woman isn't highly attracted to that man. Okay, if the woman was highly attracted to the man, he wouldn't need to pull out his wallet in order to get time with the woman. Okay, the time wouldn't be, you know, you wouldn't have to pay for a woman's time. And this leads a lot of guys to think, and we'll go back into the article here in a second. This leads a lot of guys to think, I actually saw a comment the other day, I wish I could pull it up right now, but a lot of guys get the idea that, hey, look, if I'm expected to pay for a woman's time, there isn't a whole lot of difference between that and just seeing a night worker. Right? And it really is hard to disagree with the logic, because guys have gone, okay, if I'm expected to pay for you because I'm the man and I have to take care of you despite the fact that you're saying that you're strong and independent, if I have to do these things for you, why don't I just go and spend my money with someone who's a little bit more honest about the fact of what it is exactly that they're doing? You know, and you can't really fault guys for coming up with this conclusion when essentially a lot of women are selling themselves, whether that be, oh, you have to pay for all my things, or they're selling their bodies on OF. Guys have just gone, hey, I'll just pay a night worker then. Like, why would I bother with the connection and having a relationship when, if you were actually interested in connecting with me, you wouldn't require me to open up my wallet every time that we go out together? But let's continue with this article here and continue to see if this woman is on the right track. So she says, the 7 reasons why guys don't date anymore. Number 1, face-to-face isn't necessary anymore. Technology is great. Technology has achieved great things for us, but I'm on the fence about whether or not it has helped when it comes to the dating world. Go back a decade and dating websites such as RSVP, I don't know what that is, or eHarmony were a taboo subject. No one wanted to admit that they were online dating. It was a sign of failure. A sign that you hadn't been able to meet someone out in the real world. I would actually, by the way, guys, still consider it a failure, particularly of the women, right? Because men typically don't have, and when I say typically, excuse me, men do not have the same amount of options at all when it comes to dating. Men have a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of the opportunities that women have when it comes to dating. So when I see girls like they're struggling, they're complaining that they can't find a man, that things are so difficult for them, and they're on Tinder, Bumble, and Hinge, I'm thinking, like, they can meet men. you are a dating failure. Absolutely. If you cannot find a guy as a woman just by going out into regular, society, you are doing something wrong. And typically what that really boils down to, guys, is the fact that women have unrealistic expectations. Now, they can always sit there and say, oh, well, I don't have unrealistic expectations. My last 3 boyfriends were an a-hole. Yeah, but he had something that you wanted. Okay, that you were willing to put up with the a-holishness. You compromised yourself because he had something that you wanted, because you wouldn't compromise for the thing that you wanted. It's a little bit more nuanced, guys, but you hear the girls complain about their relationships, but they're sticking around, the a-holes, the bad boys, because they're attractive or because they have something else that the woman wants. Okay, so if you didn't have those high standards of him being 6'2" or making a lot of money, perhaps you would find your Prince Charming that you have already met 50 times throughout your own life. Let's continue with the article. Fast forward to today, and there are now apps out there for almost every type of dating, from single parents to casual bedroom fun and on to gay people. There is an app for it. If a relationship doesn't work out, you jump back on and find someone else. The difference, now it's unheard of not to be on a dating application. The world has certainly changed. Why waste time dating and getting to know a person when you can chat to multiple people at once online? It's easy to see why dating has so drastically changed. You have to jump through hoops and multiple other partners to even make it to an in-person date. What? But by then, you generally feel so uncomfortable with each other that you can skip that initial dating stage and jump ahead to the tracksuit pants and movie on a couch. Right, so this woman is saying here, why waste time dating and getting to know a person when you can chat to multiple people once online? To an extent, guys, she's correct here. The people who have options on dating applications, the attractive dudes and just women in general, even if they're not attractive, they can talk to multiple people at the same time. So dudes are not going to commit to you. Dudes are not going to say, the men who have options on these dating applications, they're not going to sit there and say, oh, you know what? This girl who's trying to make me pay for dinner, yeah, I'm going to stick around with her when I can just go with Sandy over here, who's way more fun and doesn't make me pay for anything. You see, this womanist, this whole, women's liberation thing, guys, women have certainly liberated themselves, and I made this point in multiple videos recently, but they have also liberated themselves from relationships. Okay, so if you want to go out there, you want to casually date, you want to go from one guy to the other because you're strong and empowered, what that actually means is that men don't have a reason to commit to you. Okay, because if you're jumping around from guy to guy to guy, number one, no dude who's sane wants to commit to you anyway. But number two, that girl is now easier than the other women who want a relationship. Right, so if you're wanting a relationship from Chad, but Chad can just go out and get 5 other girls anyway, then he has no reason to commit to you in the first place. Let alone the guys who struggle to date. A lot of them will look at you and go, okay, well, you've been through so many dudes. It's not as if I'm going to be man number 58 who you're going to sit down and actually have a serious relationship with. Even the guys who don't get a lot of play, even the guys who are quote unquote unsuccessful in dating, they don't want to marry a 304. Now, there are going to be guys who do it, obviously simps and things like this, but for the most part, guys who respect themselves don't want to date girls who are going out here thinking that it's empowering to go through a whole bunch of dudes. Now, you're going to get the odd guy who doesn't respect himself, but for the most part, guys are not interested in marrying and having relationships with 304s. Can you guys imagine how embarrassing it must be, okay? You're a guy who's struggling with dating. You finally get a girl who's interested in you, but she's gotten with half of your town, right? And what, you're supposed to take her out to dinner and things like that when you know damn well that the previous guy who saw her didn't have to buy anything for her, or you're expected to be seen in public with her when, chances are you'll walk past some dude who knows exactly what she's done. Why on earth would you as a guy do that? It's kind of like, who was that P-star recently? I think it was Riley Reid had the child, or was it Lana Rhodes? I get them mixed up, guys. They're all really the same to me. But it's kind of like that child growing up and then their mother is literally all over the internet. It's literally embarrassing for men to be associated with girls like that, whether they're a son, whether they're a romantic partner, whatever the case may be. Guys are not interested in committing to 304s. Let's continue. It's easy to see why the dating world is so drastically changed. Point number two, booty calls have taken over. We've all heard of Tinder, of course we have. It's the app that mainstreamed the booty call. Let's take a look at this realistically. Why would a guy want to date when he can simply message any number of women and organize a booty call to his house? Exactly, well said. Skip the awkward conversation, forego the expensive food and the wine bill, get all the perks that come from dating without actually dating. Yeah, and you know what? If you do have that girl who's, by the way, typically the people who demand these things, right? Who demand all of these things from men, they look like this woman right here. Like, this is the kind of woman, guys, who realizes her standards. Now I'm going to let her voice play for one more second here, just so we can remember vividly.
Ourselves, someday he might. We're over here growing, changing, maturing from our mistakes, and they're over here holding us in a motherfucking emotional prison, reminding us we're never good enough.
Yeah, that's gonna be a that's gonna be a pass from me, because what really happens is, like, girls won't typically complain so much here, right? When they're 20 to 25 and they're getting all of this attention and they can go over to the attractive guy's house and whatever the case may be, they'll complain when they can't get a relationship out of him, sure. But the girls who get to 30 and 40, they start to lose their minds. They start to demand the expensive food, the wine bill. Why aren't men courting me anymore? Why don't men want to have relationships with me? Like, we've all seen it, guys, okay? The single mothers who have 3 different children from Lord knows how many different men. Okay, and I swear to you guys, even when they say it's from one dude, I hesitate to ever believe a lot of these girls. Like, I really do. You expect me to believe that they're all from one dude, but that guy you cheated on? And no, absolutely not. Absolutely not. But let's continue. It's hard to not see the appeal there. As a woman, we like to be romanced. We like to be won over. This woman literally wrote "won over" as the digit 1. We are absolutely doomed, guys. Absolutely doomed. We love the idea of love. We're going to come back to this idea here. But none of that is necessary anymore. We either are up for bedroom fun or keep searching for a guy who might actually stop to get to know you first. Guys are willing to actually get to know you first. Like, it amazes me that it goes through these women's heads, guys, and they actually see the majority of men as completely invisible. There are plenty of men who are interested in building a connection. There are plenty of guys out here who want to have a family, who, you know, I would not suggest it, but dudes who want to get married, okay? There are men out there who are looking for connection, who are looking for commitment, who would like to have these things with women. But unfortunately, the women, for the most part, overlook these guys in favor of the attractive guys on social media, on Tinder, Bumble, Hinge, whatever the case may be. So when you're coming around and you're saying things like, look, we like to be romanced, we like to be won over, and we're going to ignore for a moment the fact that this woman wrote this sentence with the digit 1 instead of W-O-N. You can say these things, but you don't like to be won over. You don't like these things unless it comes from a highly attractive man. And even if the guy is highly attractive, if you feel like the dude is trying to win you over, that's actually repulsive to women, guys. It really absolutely is. You can get away with it. You can have a survivorship bias. If you're a dude who's attractive, you can get away with giving roses and crap like that. It'll still damage things, but, you know, for the most part, it's interesting when girls will say that they like to be won over, but if you put a woman above you, what's the famous saying, guys? You know, you treat a woman like a celebrity, she'll treat you like a fan. That's just something that absolutely rings true here. Let's continue to the next point. Men no longer buy the drinks. Heading out to the nightclub or bar was always a great way to meet guys and flirt a little. Somewhere along the way, men stopped buying the drinks. This is untrue, but whatever. We get it. The fight for womanism, they yell. This is what you wanted, they tell us. But no, sadly, it has gone much too far. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Men aren't buying you things anymore. All of a sudden, this womanism thing has gone too far. Okay, so I want the benefits, right? But I just don't. I want to keep the benefits. I want everything that benefits me. But the moment that something doesn't benefit me, womanism has just gone too far, guys. So look at this, is hilarious. The fight for womanism, they yell. This is what you wanted, they tell us. But no, sadly, it has gone much too far. Not the free drinks, guys. Not the free food. Not the free attention. It's simply called being polite. We're gonna come back to this. You go up and chat with a woman, sipping away on your drink without even offering to buy her one. When did this become acceptable? It's not about the free drinks. It's not about the money. Really, street interviews would say otherwise, but go off. It's a simple gesture to show a woman that you like her without resorting to grinding her on the dance floor in front of your mates. I'm assuming this is mates because R is next to S on the keyboard, and this woman has not demonstrated the ability to write correctly. So I love this line of argument, guys, because we're going to address this right here. So apparently the reason why men should buy drinks for women is it's simply being polite. Okay, it's polite to buy a drink for a woman. I wonder how that line of logic would go down. Guys, if you're someone right now who has a girlfriend, if you have a wife, if you have a woman that you are seeing seriously, you're in a very serious talking stage, okay? What I want you to do, guys, is I want you to go out there. No, excuse me. I want you to sit that woman down and I want you to tell her that you go out and you frequently buy women drinks at the club. And when she gets mad at you, just tell her that you're being polite. You know? You know what I'm saying, guys? You take women out on dates, you buy them food, not because it's romantic or anything like that, guys. It's simply being polite. I swear to you, if you use this kind of logic, guys, your girlfriend, your wife, your long-term partner will be pissed off at you, because buying a drink for someone is not being polite. It goes farther than that. It is a romantic gesture. A gesture which a lot of girls will use in order to get free money, free drinks, free attention, free validation. I would encourage you guys, if it simply meant if buying things for women was, or buying these drinks was simply being polite, this is like the same thing, guys, as girls saying, oh, he's just a friend. I slept over at his house because he's just a friend. Okay, see if they like it when you go and stay at a woman's house and you take her out on dates, guys. That's just friendly, polite behavior. Am I correct or no? Let's keep going and then we'll finish up today's episode. Point number 4 here. We are all too busy for dating. Something that happened over the years. Sure, we want to meet someone. Yes, we eventually want to settle down. Eventually. Look at that word right there. We eventually want to settle down, guys, when we're 30, 35. But who has the time to go out there and find the right person? Not guys, that's for sure. And many women fall into this boat as well. The difference is women have this thing called a biological clock. Ah, yes, they do. If we want that family, then we are on a time frame. Once upon a time, women were falling pregnant in their early 20s. These days, the average age of mothers has increased to 30 and 34. Basically, guys, right before they can't be mothers anymore. So what's happened is a lot of girls have pushed off becoming a mother for as long as possible, and then they check out of the dating market, right? And now they want a serious relationship, right? And you'll notice, guys, that these ages right here, these just can, very luckily coincide with the ages of all the girls who will complain about things like, I hear girls in this age, this is when girls start to complain about things like porn online, shall we say, if you guys like adult content online, okay? And men not paying them attention anymore. This is where you hear phrases like, I'm invisible, men need to man up, they need to stop playing games, okay? But what it really means is, I'm trying to shame men into committing to me because I wasted my 20s chasing bad boys and now I'm ready for a relationship. Right? This is where all this attitude of like, oh, older guys are dating younger women. That's disgusting. Why can't they date me, the 34-year-old single mother, or the 34-year-old woman who's ready to settle down and I need to have kids within the next 12 months or else I can't do it feasibly anymore? Basically, guys, it's consequences for my own actions. How dare they? When we are finally ready to settle down and have a family, we don't have the luxury to just keep putting it off again and again. That's unfortunate. So we take the shortcuts that we're given. We skip the dating and head for bedroom fun to get to know him immediately. Oh, man, these girls are so lost, man. So lost. If you're trying to have a commitment, you should secure the commitment up front. Right, if you are in your 30s as a woman and your approach to dating in order to have a family is to get straight into a dude's bed, you have learned absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. There was a time in society where you would go out here, you would get married first, then you would have the bedroom fun, and then you would have the children. And wouldn't you know it, guys, when things worked like that, successful families actually were a thing. But guys, we are going to be leaving today's episode there. As always, remember to leave your thoughts and your comments to some of the things that we have covered here today. Don't forget to subscribe to our other content creators, guys. Their channels will be linked in the video description. Hadan from Peace of Mind and Detective Warg. And without further ado, guys, we're going to be leaving it there. So make sure that you take care of yourselves, and I'll be seeing you all in the next episode. Peace.